So, welcome to WTF Stories and Advice. I'm Caroline Cranshaw.
And I'm Daryl Gove.
We are two hypnotherapists and professional shit talkers that like to answer your questions and tell stories and just give advice.
And yes, we are shit talkers professionally.
That's probably not the most professional intro, is it?
No, but suppose we're probably more like a mix between therapists, magicians, agony aunts, and who are those people like voodoo priestesses? Something like a mix between all of those.
I have quite a few clients that say their husbands call me voodoo woman. Like, hey, I resemble that comment. How dare you? So, you said you got some news when we were setting up, but you were going to tell me on the podcast. What's that?
Yes. Oh, well, far be it from me to be one spreading misinformation, because of course I'm not the government. What I did was I checked the news and it was indeed incorrect. The headline was Buffy the Vampire Slayer returns. Which was quite exciting if you grew up in the 90s and watched Buffy in the early noughties. Did you watch that?
No, I never could get into it.
But of course you weren't a gay.
That was the news. I thought you were going to say some actual news. Oh, I just thought it was funny because I had a quick look at the Herald when I was eating lunch, our newspaper here in New Zealand, and they were saying how New Zealand's no longer in a recession. And I went, oh, what a lovely PR spin story that is.
Just before the election.
And utter bullshit.
Like that, this was also fake news. It turns out they're simply making an Audible series based on the characters. But the original cast are returning, sans Sarah Michelle Gellar, but it will just be an audio series. But for the diehard fans, that's going to be great. For me, nah.
Well, wasn't part of the appeal with Buffy the Vampire Slayer was the special effects, wasn't it?
I don't know. I had thought it was Sarah Michelle Gellar doing her fancy kicks.
Yeah, well, and half shirts. I know she had a lot of like bare midriff scenes, didn't she? If I remember
Whatever
correctly.
happened to her?
No. She was good. I liked her.
Me too.
She was good in what was that?
Cruel Intentions.
Yes, that was good.
Yeah.
And Reese Witherspoon and Ryan Phillippe, which is where Reese Witherspoon and Ryan Phillippe met.
Yeah.
And Reese Witherspoon was like this delicate, innocent little flower. Funny.
So good. So good.
Okay, so we have a listener letter, don't we? That you said you wanted to read.
Yes, I will read this one because, as usual, I have been manning the inbox lately. Sorry for all the abusive replies that you've been getting. Just joking.
You better not. I have not checked it in a while because I've just been too busy.
No. Only lovely replies. We do try to reply to everything personally when we can, even if we're not going to be doing it on here. So do write in and give us your stories and ask for advice. This is kind of asking for advice in a story format, I guess. So yeah, shall I fire away?
Yeah, go for it.
So it opens with this line. Should I buy him a prostitute for his birthday?
Oh. Well, okay, yeah, you got my attention. And I know people who've done that.
Oh, really?
Well, more for both of them.
I see.
Not just one.
Okay. It looks so ridiculous to me writing this right now. But before you judge me for asking the question, let me give you the background. I've been married to my husband for 8 years. We have a good marriage, no children yet, but we're hopefully going to have some with the IVF that we're doing. We're hopeful it will be successful soon. I met my husband at a drive-thru. I was drunk, in the passenger seat, of course, and I shouted, "Hey, you're cute. Can I have your number?" And he handed my friend our burgers and his number. We went on a date the next day, hungover, and he gave it to me again.
His number? Or
I think something more.
Okay. Some big digits, huh?
She says, "Did you know that sex is the perfect antidote to beer fear?"
What's beer fear?
I think it's the triple A's after alcohol anxiety, just the fear.
Like hangxiety.
Anxiety, yeah. She says, "I didn't even orgasm, but still felt better afterwards." I think that's all the oxytocin and stuff, right? The cuddle hormone
Yeah, could be.
and all the excitement. We ended up meeting most nights after his shift finished. Sometimes we'd go for long walks on the beach in the moonlight, with free burgers, of course. Other times we would go back to my place and go wild all night. They were happy days. We got married a year later, and we've always had a good sex life. I wonder if they're gay, if she's a gay man. They got married after a year. That seems awful quick for a straight couple.
Well, it just depends. I know couples that get I got married, 18 months after I met my partner, and 6 of those months we were broken up. My first husband.
Well, but you are also a gay man.
I am a gay man trapped in a woman's body. That is true.
So we had a lot of good sex, 1 to 2 times per week, with what I considered a fair amount of variety.
A lot? Once or twice a week? I wouldn't call that a lot. Sorry.
I suppose it depends on their age
Mm.
and first married, and it's only 1 to 2 times per week. Maybe that's a little bit on the lean side.
And you're young.
She hasn't said her age in the whole letter, so I have to guess, but if they're still trying for a baby, they can't have been too old when they met.
And he was working at a drive-through?
Yeah, he must have been like a teenager, 19 or something.
That's what I'm thinking. Who am I to judge? I don't know. So they're having lots of sex once or twice a week.
Well, she says a good sex life and what she considers a fair amount
Okay, yeah.
of variety.
That's like average.
So yeah, fair, good sex life, not too much, not too little. She says we didn't talk much about sex, but it certainly isn't a taboo subject. We have had times where we dress up and pretend to be strangers. We've tried bondage. Even once we had a threesome with my sister's best friend. That's a story in itself, which we both enjoyed, partly because it was so forbidden and naughty. If my sister found out, she would kill us.
How is it any of her business?
Yeah, I don't know. I guess people are sometimes territorial about their friends and things like that.
You cannot fuck my friends.
Yeah, exactly. Have you ever seen Dairy Girls?
No, I haven't.
Oh, I cannot recommend it highly enough. It's set in Northern Ireland in the 90s and it's set around school kids. It's a comedy. And it's in the kind of shadow of all the troubles that they had before the Good Friday Agreement and the peace. And one of the boys, the cousin of one of the main girls, likes a girl later and it's like, well, you can't go out with her because you're my cousin. And if you split up, I don't even like him. He's a bastard, but he's my cousin. I got to be with him. And it's just so interesting how these territorial arguments play out when you watch TV and movies. But this one, they just said it so succinctly. It's like, no, he's my cousin and you're my best friend. And if you break up, I'm going to take his side and we can't be friends anymore. So you can't go out. And they listened, which is unusual.
That's fair enough.
Yeah.
Because then it's just awkward. Not that she should take her side, or his side. Anyways, doesn't matter.
So our relationship is good. Arguments here or there over the normal stuff, and we make up pretty well afterwards. So this is why things came as such a surprise. My friend Anita and her husband lead an adventurous life. They travel all over the world and they aren't shy in what they share with us about their wild sex adventures that they have along the way. Often trying out the local cuisine, as they call it, for a night of debauchery.
Nice.
One day recently, Anita sat down with me for a glass of wine. I thought it was weird to be drinking wine because it was 11 a.m. and that's unusual for us. But if someone offers, you're going to take it. So she was talking slowly and thoughtfully, and I was beginning to suspect something was up. She started telling me about her husband, Paul, and how he sometimes likes to get with just men. This is something I didn't know, but it wasn't a surprise. They had threesomes with both men and women. I asked her how she was about it, and she said she was totally fine. There's something that she can give him, so she is happy for him to get it. Likewise, he will never settle with a man because he loves her. He literally worships her vagina too, and says being with men makes him hornier for her. I tried to listen and understand without being judgmental, but she always knows when I do because apparently I nod too vigorously. So, I'm thinking she's opening up because maybe she wants some advice. But she slows down again and puts her hand on my knee in a friendly way. Hun, she says. A few days ago, Paul was off out for his me time. I don't ask what he does, and he doesn't tell me. We have rules, and he follows them. Rules that keep us both safe and protect not just our emotions, but our health. Anyway, Paul came home agitated, like he wanted to tell me something. I waited patiently and poured him a whiskey, and eventually he opened up.
Oh, no.
If you can see Caroline's face.
Yeah, yeah, tell me. At least I think I know.
Paul apparently likes to frequent a glory hole at the local gas station.
Oh. Oh, no. Uh-huh. Oh, glory hole.
he sorry, laughing at your face.
I just remember there's a scene from a movie, The Sweetest Thing. Have you seen that?
Oh, yes.
She's like, "What's this hole?" And it was like a puppy dog on the wall or something, and she looks, and this penis comes out of the hole. And then she's like, "I has herpes."
That movie is so good. Your penis too big in here. Too big to get in here. Too big. You know that song? Do you remember it?
Yeah, and then one of the girls was giving her boyfriend a blowjob or someone a blowjob who had a pierced penis, and then the piercing got caught in the back of her throat. And
Yes.
they make her sing a song to relax her throat to get it out.
While all the fire brigade are all there.
Yeah, and everyone's singing. That was filmed in San Francisco as well, my hometown. So anyways.
If you haven't seen The Sweetest Thing, go and get it
Oh.
out. It's just a good laugh. And you can watch people singing about penises dancing in a dime. It's brilliant.
It's a great movie.
One more movie with a funny glory hole scene is Scary Movie. Have you seen that?
Yes.
It's a spoof of like Scream. And
Mm.
the Scream guy, somebody's in the toilet, the gay character, obviously, and he hears whispering. And he puts his ear to the glory hole and it's getting tickled by this like penis. And he starts giggling. And then he gets stabbed through the head by the penis. And he dies.
It's a pretty sharp dick. Got a prick.
Sorry, Paul, if you're listening to this. So Paul apparently likes to frequent a glory hole at the local gas station. He never sucks, only gets sucked. He says that men just do it better.
Hey, I got instructions on how to give blowjob by gay men with a live performance. I am not kidding. And I learned a lot.
Well, my friend Jo, I taught her sitting outside the mall on a banana, and years later, she phoned me up to thank me.
Well, they say women are better at eating pussy, right? I guess when you've got the same type of body part.
You know your own.
Yeah.
So he says men just do it better. So this afternoon, he stopped in and waited for someone to come. Someone did. And he got his blowjob. Good for him. If it's really good, he waits for the guy to come out so he can get his number. This guy didn't come out, so he waited, curious. Eventually, he got bored, so he left. But he was curious, so he sat in his car and he watched the door to see what the guy looked like.
Oh, no.
Hun, it was your Jacob. I'm absolutely devastated, she says. I feel like my whole world just crashed down around me. I know lots of women are okay, Anita for one, with the gay or bi thing. But for me, I'm sorry, it really grosses me out. Not so much the fact that he's definitely not gay, but the fact that he's sucking other guys' dicks. I mean, what if they have diseases? I want to confront him, to talk to him about it. I don't want to make it a big deal, but really, it is one. So I don't know how to approach the conversation. I don't know if I can stay with him while he indulges in this thing with men. On the other hand, if he is truly bi, maybe there's something that he needs that I just can't give him. It seems a shame to throw away what we have. If I'm honest, I'm determined not to leave him over this. I'd rather have some of him than all of him. Help, please. What should I do? It's his birthday next month, and this might sound totally crazy, but I think if I paid for it, or if he paid for it, I'd feel better. Also, safer. Should I hire him a prostitute for his birthday? It's driving me crazy thinking that he might be out there with strangers. I really am confused, and he has noticed I'm avoiding sex. Help me navigate this conundrum, and I will be eternally grateful. Yours, B.
I'm actually speechless for once in my life.
Which
Uh,
part?
um, yeah. Uh, what? Okay. I mean, what do they say? Everybody's gay when they go to prison, right? I think a majority of people are actually on the bisexual scale. I think sexuality is a scale. I think there's people at both extremes of extreme heterosexual and extreme homosexual, right? And then there's
Mhm.
lots of shades of gray. The fact that he's bisexual, I don't find concerning in the slightest, but I do find it deeply concerning that number one, he's sucking dicks out of a glory hole. Which
Yeah. I-
like, oh my god, like, is he swallowing? Like, is he, like, is he got fucking chlamydia of the throat?
I don't know because she didn't say, but either there's some confusion between Anita and her husband over what constitutes safe sex, um, or he is getting the guys to use a condom. Hold on, who's sucking who? Is Paul being sucked? So otherwise, or he's wearing a condom or something. So I don't know. She hasn't said. Yeah,
I mean, it's not that risky getting your dick sucked, but it is risky to suck random dicks. And not only you can get anything that way. You can get literally any disease under the fucking sun.
including that new one from India,
Which one is that?
the bodily fluids one.
Oh, the monkeypox?
No, something else that they're shutting down for.
Oh, yeah. Some like hemorrhagic blah blah blah. Yeah, there's a million. I just fucking tune out now. Uh-huh. Yeah, and
Yeah,
they just
no, it
happen to
happened.
be making a vaccine for it. Isn't that Yeah, wow. Miracle.
So there's a risk factor there, which whatever comes of this conversation, B, don't put that aside. So keep that in your mind that where there is sex and where there's unprotected sex, there is risk. Okay, so advice.
Well, number 1, you've got to confront him. I don't know. I mean, I'd be the type that would go down to that gas station and stake it out and take photos and fucking get so much evidence that there was no denying it because people will just deny it to your face.
And say that the guy's lying or that
That it's bullshit, blah, blah, blah. Totally. So I would get evidence first, personally,
because also it is third-hand information and he didn't actually see him. He just saw him come out of the bathroom.
which pretty incriminating. But the interesting thing is that he didn't come out and the guy had a funny feeling. Just goes to show with intuition. But then did he recognize his dick and know it was him? Or like, how did he know? Um,
Maybe he's got like a little tattoo or something just on the shaft.
or,
A little mustache.
welcome to Jamaica. The biggest concern is that he's cheating. The second biggest concern is he is having risky sex with men, which does put your health at risk, which is very concerning. And if she never knew he was bisexual, how long has this been going on? The first thing I would be doing is running to the doctors and getting every STD test under the sun.
Yeah.
Personally, wouldn't be hiring a hooker. You don't pay for dick. That's always a bad investment. Dick is free.
Yeah.
Pussy, you pay for pussy, you don't pay for dick.
But I don't think her point there is that he couldn't get it. Obviously, he can get it, right? But it's
She's
she's
trying to put control around it or make
yeah.
it feel like a transaction.
I was watching TikTok, as you do, and apparently in Japan, it's very common for women to be fine with men using prostitutes because it's okay if they pay. Did you know about that?
No, I didn't know. I know they have a lot of hosting type of stuff, a lot of Western girls that go over there and host, which it's not necessarily prostitution, but it's interesting where they go and get paid to hang out with the men. And I think a lot of times it does turn into prostitution, but maybe not on the clock. In New Zealand, prostitution is legal, and so many men use prostitutes here. So many married men. I've got working girl clients who say most of their clients are married.
I told you about that working girl that I was speaking to at a bar, and she told me about that time her brother came in.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah, for
No,
his
you
18th
have
birthday.
you have not told me that. No, no. What about, like, your dad or something? You'd be like, "Oh, God. That other story we told." Oh, God. Anyways, yep.
Well,
Keep it in the
we'll
family.
save those. She saw her brother before he saw her, and she
Hmm.
went and got the madam to get rid of him
Yeah.
and gave him a message from God because they're a Christian family. And like, got a message. God says that you need to leave. You're not meant to be here. And anyway, so the sister went home the next day and she was like, I was praying and God told me that you were doing something you weren't meant to do on Sunday. And he got totally freaked out, completely freaked out. And he never turned up back at that place anyway, at that brothel.
The ultimate manipulation. God told me you are a naughty boy. Okay, so back to I can't tell you what to do, but this is what I would do if I were in your situation. I'd get more evidence. I would get a health checkup for sure and just make sure everything's tickety boo and you don't have any diseases you don't know about. I would follow him or get more evidence so there's no denying it because I am crazy like that and I don't like any wiggle room when yeah, as my mother says, you get all your ducks in a row and be prepared. You don't just bring it up at dinner and go, by the way, I heard you like sucking dick out of a glory hole. And I would think long and hard, are you okay with this? I know some women that are absolutely fine with their partners being bisexual. They don't have a problem with it. But I would not say that is the norm. I would say most women, the majority of women I know, are deeply uncomfortable with the thought of their partner sleeping with a man if they're
Mhm.
with a man. And it's funny because those same women, like I'm one of those women. And maybe it's because I grew up in San Francisco with deeply promiscuous men around me and also saw a lot of married men and supposedly straight men sleeping with men. But I also grew up during AIDS and
Yeah.
saw a lot of people get diseases and die from those diseases.
Or from the medication they were given.
Yeah, now that we know better is a lot of times from the actual medication of those diseases, but that's a whole 'nother story. It's risky, but at the same time, it's up to you to define your relationship and what makes you happy and what the boundaries are. I've got friends that are really into swinging, and I'm friends with one couple. They're very much into swinging. She's very into women. He is not into men. So he sleeps with women when they swing, and she sleeps with women when they
Mhm.
swing. And they've got real rules around it. They're the only couple I know that has made it work. The rest always seem to break up because people break the boundaries. Men are different to women, though. Men, I think, can have more casual sex and not get attached. They seem to be able to, and this is probably biological, they can compartmentalize it more, and it doesn't seem to impact their relationship. Women are not as good as that as a general rule. Obviously, there's exceptions to everything. But I don't know. I'd be deeply upset with the fact that never been told this.
But I don't think he's gonna be getting a deep connection with someone in a glory hole situation.
No. And that's the thing. It's probably not a worry about him getting a deep connection, but it is a worry that he's lying.
And cheating.
And he's lying by omission and he's cheating. And he's cheating in a very risky way to your health. And she mentioned doing IVF.
I would be angriest about. I mean, all parts of it aren't okay. I mean, we can understand, okay, people have sexual desires that are perhaps not discussed sometimes in relationships, or they can't bring it up or whatever. And sometimes it's for to be with another man or another woman if you're a woman. And those are hard conversations, especially in certain families or certain communities or certain relationships. And even still, I can have empathy. I know a lot of guys who came out later in life because they were forced into the closet, not because they weren't brave, but because when they tried to come out, they got beaten up or they got excluded from their family or their church and so on. So it's a really hard life if somebody's gay or bi. And not always, but it often is. And so here he is, he's bi. Maybe, my question is, does he just want more sex? Or does he specifically want dick? And that's a question that I guess matters.
Sounds like dick to me. Sounds like. Because what I've always found interesting is, what do you get out of it? Like, it can be pleasurable to give a blowjob, but then is he just wanking himself? I don't know. I guess I'd be more concerned if he was just like letting a whole bunch of guys run a train on him with no protection. Like, that's a lot more risky behavior. But I don't know. I would be confronting. And I guess it's thinking about whether you're okay with this. I think hiring sex workers is just opening up a whole nother door.
And I think it's too far down the line. Like, before you even talk about, right, let's say you get over this, get over the cheating, get over the fact he's likes dick, and you decide that you're going to be accepting of him having dick in the future. And he's going to agree to boundaries around that. All the way down that line, that's when you think about how to do it. Like Caroline said, have your ducks in a row. Don't just go, surprise, here's some dick. If I were to tell him, this is how I would do it, okay? I would arrange a night with Anita and Paul, and we would play charades. And we would write suggestions. And for Anita and Paul, they would have to act out something as a pair, and it would have to be Paul getting sucked off in a glory hole.
And would you film this little skit?
Well, it wouldn't be naked, right? Because it's charade, so you're acting it out, and he has to guess what it is that they are doing. And then look when he clicks in his head.
Oh, I so could do that. I'd be like driving up to the service station, like going to pump gas, and then being like, and then going to a bathroom. And you're so good. Yeah, that's genius, actually, Daryl.
We should play charades sometime.
I'm good at charades. Yeah, that would be another way to tell him. I don't know. There's all kinds of inventive ways. You see people do that at like gender reveals and engagement parties where they have made a little video for you and it's them cheating. Yeah. I wouldn't go quite so public. I don't know. Or you have the friends over and be like, so apparently I heard you sucked Paul's dick the other night.
Do it in front of Paul so that it's harder to deny it.
And I think only you can decide what you're going to do. I'd be careful of telling anybody else. I mean, it sounds like your friend was quite concerned. And it's good that her friend's husband said something, right? Like, a lot of people just wouldn't say anything. They would be like the bro code and like, hey, I'll just come here every Wednesday and he can suck my dick. It's great. I don't know. Again, the truth will set you free. I guess you've just got to decide if you're okay with that, but be deeply hurt over the lying and putting health at risk. I guess if he's using a condom, but how many people really suck a dick with a condom? Like, really?
And no 4.
Well, that's many of them. I know sex workers do, but, yeah, I don't know.
I think just decide, are you okay? Decide how you feel because you don't want to be told how you feel about it. I think speak to someone else if you've got someone else you can confide in, someone that you trust because and it sounds like Anita's a really good friend. She's also in a relationship where that's okay. And and so that might influence whether or not you think it's okay. So I think if you've got someone else you trust, maybe talk it through, but ultimately decide how you feel. And if there's two issues. There's the buy thing and there's the cheating thing. The cheating thing, well, that has to be confronted. Like he needs to be, I don't know what's a better word, reprimanded. There needs to be some consequences for that. That's not okay. He's breaking trust. And if he's breaking trust now, then he can break it in the future. So I would be screaming at him a little bit if that was me, because I'm quite emotional.
Yeah, I'd be doing more than screaming. I'd be running around with a sharp implement, offering a free circumcision if he hadn't had one already. I personally would not be okay with that at all. That would be a deal breaker. My partner knows that's a deal breaker for me right now. If you've never set that out as a deal breaker, I don't know. But what about cheating? Has cheating been a deal breaker for your relationship? Where are your boundaries?
It's an interesting one because if I put it the other way around, right? If I dated a guy that was bi, would I be okay if he was with women? And I think I would be more okay than I would be if he was with another. Like if somebody cheated on me with a guy, it would be much less bad. I've always
That's
thought that.
interesting. Why do you think
Just
that is? Because he can't compete?
yeah, it's like there's no competition. I think when I've been cheated on in the past, it's made me feel bad about myself, like not good enough or that all those kind of emotions. Whereas if it was with a woman, it's like that's not part of the conundrum. It's not a reflection on me. But at the same time, cheating's cheating and it's not okay. Like that would have to be a discussion before it happens. Like, hey, this is what I feel that I need to be happy. And then I would decide if that was going to work for me or not. And be honest, probably no. Luckily, I'm not in that position that you're in, B. Dang.
And I'm so sorry that you're going through that because that is tough. That is really tough. But I think the thing is, it's more common than you'd think. Like I do couples counseling and the glory hole is a new one, but I've definitely seen where either partner has come out as bisexual or has had an affair with the opposite sex and the other partner is deeply hurt. And like if my partner now cheated on me, I'd be done. Absolutely. Because I just never going to put up with that shit again. But the other thing is that then you, like, watch them with everyone. Because I have stayed with a partner who cheated on me. They never would admit it, and that's why I'm like, "Get fucking evidence." Like, because they will just deny to their grave. But after that, it was always like, "Oh, was he talking to her, and where was it out, and what about that employee?" And it drove me crazy, and I acted like a crazy person. I literally acted like a crazy person. 'Cause of the jealousy and the insecurity and the trust that it just messed me up so badly. I would definitely have a chat to a therapist for sure, and if you guys are gonna work through this, you need to go to therapy together. There's no just, like, brushing it under the carpet and, "Oh, here, we'll just hire you some dick every month."
No,
It's
it's not gonna work.
no.
Not long term. No.
You've gotta rebuild the trust back up. So I think you could think long and hard. Be careful who you tell. I would keep it to just at least now you've got a friend who you can talk to about it, whose partner is also bi. What are you thinking?
I've got a great idea as well of what you could do. So let's just imagine that you want
Sorry.
look, I'm
Uh-huh.
Cancerian, so don't fuck with me, right?
Yeah.
If if I get revenge, it's gonna be evil, and that's where
Mm.
my mind's going.
Mhm.
So what I would do is I would get someone like his best friend or someone that's like, I don't know, someone that he would be repulsed by. And I would say, I need your help. And I would film them going into that gas station toilet and going to the glory hall and say, do you want to tell me what happened? Because this person just did. Yeah.
That'd be another way to approach it.
Yeah, it's not evil enough.
That's the thing. That's what I don't get with a glory hole. It's like you don't know what's on the other side of that. You know? I don't know.
little window or something like that. Hi. In America, isn't it that the stalls don't have the sides properly anywhere? I mean, I'm assuming this is America. It could be somewhere else.
What do you mean the sides aren't proper?
Everyone always complains about, like in New Zealand and in the UK, in the toilets, the stalls go all the way to the ground, right? So they're private. In America, apparently, there's like these giant gaps at the bottom so you can see who's in there and stuff, and sometimes at the top as well.
Yeah, that's definitely changed since I left, and the reason why because I remember seeing something and, like, you could see everyone's heads, like, from shoulders up, and I'm like, "What the
Yeah.
hell?" What do you, like, just look
Just
over at someone while you're taking a shit?
someone's going, ah.
Yeah. Oh, and I see their face, but apparently it's because so many people will use drugs in the toilets.
Really? I mean, that makes sense, of course. Yeah.
So that they're like, basically, we're just gonna block out the parts that matter because that's why. And maybe people having sex in them. I don't know.
You're a clarty lot.
What, clarty? What is that? Nasty?
Yeah, it means like dirty.
Dirty. Yeah.
Clarty lot in America.
Yeah. I guess for you, get really clear about what kind of relationship you want to have. Can you move past this? Are you gonna always
Mhm.
looking at him when he talks to any guy going, "Do you wanna fuck him? Have you sucked his dick?" Like, is that something that's gonna be an issue? It sounds like she really does wanna work it out, and hey, who's to say? Like, relationships come in all different shapes and forms. I would definitely be like, "Well, I get to go out and do something now just to make it even." Like, how would he feel if she was just, like, licking out random women? Would he be cool with that?
I think most men
That'd
would
be
be.
one way to trick him. That's the problem. They're like, "Yeah." But would he be okay with her going and sucking a dick in a glory hole?
Yeah, just turn it around.
Yeah.
Probably not.
Hmm.
What we don't know as well is this like a one-off thing and coincidentally he was caught by Paul, or does he do this every Tuesday? Like, what is this part of his life?
I don't think you start out with sucking dicks in a glory hole. That's not step 1. If that is the first step, there's a concern. You know what I mean? But also, he's probably got some type of porn addiction.
I would be checking his phone and looking at his history, and I would do it like, give me your phone, I'm gonna look through it, okay, and see, like, is he watching porn? Does he have apps?
Oh, I'd have a tracker on his car. You can send someone a text that then you can, like, listen to every conversation they have.
What?
Oh, yeah. I'd be doing full-blown surveillance. I'm just kidding.
Well, if you don't have enough trust to move forward so that you don't need that, then it's never gonna work.
No, but I'd also he could just go, "Oh my god, it was the one and only time, blah, blah, blah," and then it's like,
Of course he would, yeah.
yeah, of course he's gonna say that. And so, that's why I say get evidence. Figure out how bad the issue is before you confront him. Because if it's a one-off, then maybe it's forgivable, but I would bet a decent amount of money on the fact that this isn't just a one-off. That's moving towards extreme behavior and very addictive behavior and risky behavior with sex, which you normally work up to that. So, yeah, and that's why I'm like, follow his take photos, realize how bad the issue is.
Have you ever done that? Yeah?
Of course not. Yeah, I have. And then how I tricked him was I just tricked his best friend into admitting everything when he was drunk one night. And I got him to tell me
Really?
everything. And then I didn't say anything for days, and he didn't know. The friend didn't tell him for a few days, and because I had suspected he had and had accused him, and he denied it, and then the friend called up drunk, trying to defend him, and I was like, "I already know. He just told me. We just got off the phone." "Oh, you do? Oh," it just fucking spilled the beans. I think we've talked about that story before.
I'm not even gonna tell you how I got my ex to admit to cheating
I think we've
'cause
talked about this on the
we
podcast.
may have talked about it, but it was pretty crafty and it worked. We've talked about it a few times, like, we've talked on here about how I got another secret out of someone, and the pattern is a bit like, I already know and it's okay, even if it's not actually okay, you pretend it's okay until they admit it. Or even that I agree with you, but this other circumstance, I just lied about some stuff and got the information. if somebody's lying to you, I think it's okay to use different methods to get the truth because you deserve the truth and you need the truth. But he might not lie. So get some backup and then sit him down. He might be relieved that he can talk to you about it. He might be wanting to talk to you about it. And he may have even tried to talk to you about it. And you didn't get where the conversation was going. Who knows? And guys have got an open sex life where you, well, obviously you're not open, but you talk openly about it. You're not have all these taboo subjects. So I just don't get why he didn't talk to you about it. Like, why did he go straight to that or build up to that? Why didn't he ask for a threesome? Or, like if he really wants it that much and you're happy to accommodate him, maybe that's something can be worked out. Maybe it's the excitement aspect or the anonymity. How'd you say anonymity? Anonymity?
Anonymity. I can't even say it either.
Anonymity.
He likes being anonymous.
Anonymous.
Anonymity. I'm never good. You know me.
So there could be more to it. So yeah, have a conversation and have your friend Anita as backup. Have her ready with some wine.
I bet she'd help you stalk him too.
Oh yeah, she sounds great actually.
Yeah, she totally would. Stalk his ass. Get all the evidence before you confront.
I've never heard that term before. Cuisine, tasting the local cuisine. She's brilliant.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah. So speaking of which, not speaking of cuisine, but there's a new show on Amazon Prime called Wilderness.
Okay.
So good. Really good. Really enjoyed it. But it's about this woman who, okay, spoiler alert. If you don't want to hear, I'm just going to tell you a little tiny bit, but figures out her husband is cheating on her and then goes on a trip with him. And the person he's cheating with shows up. And it's like, what happens? But yeah.
I only heard half of it because I put my headphones away because I don't want to know.
I was wondering, I'm like, are you talking to somebody? You're like turning your head. Nah.
I don't like knowing anything.
Okay. Well, it's about a woman dealing with some betrayal and how she handles it. Watch that first. That might give you some pointers.
Cool. Any other books or movie, TV recommendations to help B or anything you've been working your way through?
Oh, there's another one I just watched that was great. The Following is based on a Pack of Lies or something. Is based on a Pack of Lies. It's a English show, but that is really excellent as well.
About like a drama, is it?
It's a drama, but slight comedy. It's about a woman who randomly sees someone from her past who hurt her quite badly and is a con artist. And what she does to try to make other people aware or have him brought to justice. And that was very good as well. Yeah. So I'll have to figure out exactly. Yeah, something Pack of Lies, but really, really good.
Did I ever tell you I worked with a con artist once?
No.
I was working in sales in this job and she sat next to me and like, so what did you do before? She's like, I was a professional con artist. And I was like, what, really? She's like, yes, I con people out of money. And anyway, I didn't quite approve, but I just watched her with the customers and she was very sexy, like very beautiful. And her voice was so sultry and every man would just pour their money towards her. Like she beat me in sales. There was no keeping up with her. And I'm pretty good, but everybody just bought from her straight away because, con artistry is quite the talent to have.
Yes.
Being sexy helps.
Yeah. What was that movie that was so good with Jennifer Love?
Jennifer Love Huge Tits.
Huge Tits, yeah. And Sigourney Weaver. It was like a mother and daughter con artist. It was such a good movie. I cannot for the life of me remember, but it was very, very good.
Okay, I'm going to Google these ones. We're not trying to make light B of your situation, but everybody does like watching a good con. And we do like a good bit of revenge as well. So if you're...
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just know you're gonna go through a whole series of emotions with this. You're gonna be angry, you're gonna be sad, you're gonna be like, "What did I do?" You're gonna blame yourself. You're gonna go through all these cycles, and that's why it's so important to get some support and therapy, to have someone objective look at this. Because 'cause I'm just a little bit concerned of, like, I really wanna make this work, and just seems to me, it's yeah, I think you're probably in shock, and it's so out of left field, but you definitely need some support, and
And it's okay, like Caroline says, to you're gonna go through a lot of emotions, and here's the thing, right? Even if imagine everything just goes amazingly. So you have this perfect conversation and perfect set of rules and perfect agreement. You're still going to grieve because the relationship that you thought you had with him, you don't have that anymore. And even if you have a better relationship, maybe it all works out for you both and you're both more open and you're both happy with that. Or, who knows what's going to happen? Maybe trust is restored and he never does it again and it was just a one off. But either way, the relationship that you thought you had with him, which was one with fidelity, one where he was faithful only to you, and one where he wasn't sucking your best friend's partner's penis in a gas station, that's gone. And it's okay to, right now, you can start accepting that. You can feel your emotions. So right now, you're sounding understanding and maybe confused, numb, and you might get angry later. Absolutely. You take it out on him. Or, but you get some support and you might just go through all those different emotions and just let that happen, even if it goes well.
absolutely.
Well, if you have a bisexual husband or any problems that you would like advice with or a crazy story you want to tell us, write to us at wtfstoriesandadvice@gmail.com.
And if you need some therapy for these things as well, you can book sessions, and we see people from all around the world who help them through it, and as well as not only help you work through it consciously, but clear that trauma out of the subconscious mind too. Or find a hypnotherapist in your local area, because I think that is going to help you get over your trauma a lot faster.
If you suspect your partner is a closet bi, then get them to listen to this or just share this podcast with all your friends anyway because you love them and you want them to hear us talk.
That's good advice as well, Daryl. So, on that note, give us a review and 5 stars. As Daryl said, share it with your friends and write to us your stories, and we'd love to give you advice as well. Or if you want to give advice to some of our listeners or people who've written in, you're welcome to do that as well.
And if it's better than ours, we'll read it out.
Yeah, exactly. Or pass it on. All right. So, well, good to see you, Daryl, and we'll be back soon. Bye.
See you soon. Bye.
There goes a sight from my soul.